Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you're feeling inside. Just gonna take you out of my mind. And I gotta wake up without myself tomorrow. Try to confront every wall that you said. Even after you left, all this gap turned out to become a sorrow. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you feel inside. Just gonna take you out of my mind. You gotta sit in your eyes. Try to confront the skies. Can you feel my outside?
What's up, everybody? I have an insane story for today. There's my favorite troll. I got your ass, turd. I was so proud. I had my first troll yesterday. It's been several months since someone could troll me. And Magnetic Pig Millionaire got me. Oh, it was fun. Listen, I love trolls. Trolls will always have my heart. Trolls will always have my heart. It brings excitement to my life. I was like, is that Rapper? We haven't seen Rapper in a really long time. I was hoping it was you, Rapper. But all right, let me start at the top. Let me tell everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Kitty King, Ghost, Chad, Mark, go away. I'm not gonna be nice. Okay, I'm not gonna. What's up, KK? And Becky Kimbler, and Fight Me Now, Kiki's Eyes, GM Lovely, Sarah. Yes, Constance Live was. We needed that laugh. That was so funny. It was true. Everybody said we never heard Constance laugh. That was one of the first times I've heard her like just laugh, break out, and it is very contagious. That was a nice thing for today. All right, we got Yaya and Zepparella. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, Markella. Just Lilo. And we got Michelle and it's Nanny. Judo. TZB. Nicole the Bounty Hunter Snowflake, Charlene and Kimmy Kim. There's Constance. I'm sorry. And you did do it. And you did it. Missouri Mama and Bridget. And of course, full green light and our magnetic millionaire. Hello, Bob. All right, we've got Bam Bam. Okay, magnetic. Listen, it was fun while it lasted. It was great. It was great. You know, I have over 1,000 mods. It's actually really hard, and I don't think you guys are aware of this, but I have over 1,000 mods, and it's actually hard to troll this channel because I mod everybody. So a great troll technique is to get modded and then never, never chat, and then wait and don't chat, and then start timing people out. And it's so funny. Or another great troll technique is to sit in a other chat, pull up the live chat, and then start blocking people that you know are in that chat. I'm not saying I've ever done that, but it. I feel like it's helping. It takes a lot. Oh, it's probably me. Let me. My. I'm also not talking very loud. I'm not as hyper. All right, all right. Hello, well, there's that. Hopefully that should fix it. What's up, Heather? I do. I have to say I love trolling. It's so much fun, and there's a lot of bad things that happen here, but trolling is a healthy, fun way. All right, so I'm glad we had that laugh this morning because this is pretty serious. I know some of you that have followed me for a while know that I started following a case out of Oklahoma, the Henrietta massacre, where there is legislation in the Senate of Oklahoma right now called Knight's Law, HB 3992. Hopefully that will get adopted by November. I'm praying for that family because that family is taking their tragedy and pushing to save other families. This situation, hey Granny, hey Goya, the situation I'm going to share with you today is another example of legislation that is very flawed in this country. This is at very beginning stages, but it's good to see in this picture, which is why I started with this picture. These are actual representatives in Colorado. Um, this is a sad, horrible story. It's got all the elements of everything that could go wrong that went wrong. So let me make this. I got a couple notes here before we get going through the articles, and there's a couple videos, and then of course the mother's TikTok, and then I'll read you the GoFundMe. But just so we're clear, the victims in this case are, the mom is Rachel, the dad is Michael, and then the victims are the two adopted daughters of Rachel, and I'm sorry, Rachel's daughters, and then Michael adopted those two. Those are two of the victims. I believe they're now adults today or close to the age of majority. A biological daughter that both Rachel and Michael share. I'm not clear on the son. I'm believing it's a biological child of Michael and Rachel. And then they also have two younger children that are boys. So all of these kids have lived a tremendous life so far. And the dad brutalized this entire family. So all the well wishes, all the positive thoughts we can send to them is going to be very needed, with the exception of the father. I hope you're all sent. The one thing I'm asking, thank you, Doohickey. Well, have fun in Bali. I don't know where that is, but I'm sure it's somewhere fancy. Thanks, Doohickey. Um, so this is first. I'll read through the GoFundMe. Stand with Rachel Pickrell Hawkins and children, and I'll drop the link in the chat. Father, which is Michael, charged with felony sex crimes against children, and mom goes to jail for protecting them. Please support Rachel Pickrell Hawkins and her children while she navigates finding a new normal for their family in Colorado. And then, of course, it's got the link to the story, and it says, we are seeking family, civil, and criminal attorneys. Please reach out if your firm is interested in assisting. Reunification therapist is Christine Bassett of Lighthouse Christian Counseling. Christopher Estel is opposing counsel, and Judge McDonald made the erroneous decision. As a divorce and parenting coach and activist for family court reform and children, here is my information. So they set this GoFundMe up for her, and let me explain why. So Rachel and Michael were going through a divorce. I'm not clear exactly on the year it's taken place, but I know what's up, everybody? I know it, hey, Spider Woman. I know in 2022, Judge McDonald ordered them to go through this reunification therapy. So she was living in a domestic violence shelter. This man, Michael, is a retired police officer, and we'll go over, I think it was a sergeant when he retired. They're deeming him as a hero cop, but he was dispatched to the Aurora shooting and claims to suffer PTSD from that event, but there's no reason that PTSD would make you do the things that I'll show you he did. Hey, Holly Dolly. Excuse me, sir. No, please. So right here, the Aurora County shooting, I'll just briefly touch on that. July 20th, 2012, a mass shooting occurred inside a Century 16 movie theater in Aurora, Colorado. Many of you probably remember this. During a midnight screening of the film The Dark Knight Rises, dressed in tactical clothing, 24-year-old James Egan Holmes set off tear gas grenades and shot into the audience with multiple firearms. 12 people were killed and 70 others were injured. 58 of them from gunfire. It is the deadliest shooting by a lone gunman in the history of Colorado and the state's second deadliest mass shooting, just after Columbine. At the time, the event had the largest number of victims in one shooting in modern U.S. history. This number was later surpassed by the 107 victims of the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting, and eventually the 927 victims of the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. So they arrested him right outside the cinema, and he had his apartment rigged with explosives. All right, so July 29th of this year, Michael Hawkins was booked into jail. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Jackie Blue. Thanks, Constance. I appreciate that. Hey, Think My Bell 2.0. Michael Hawkins was booked into jail and given a $50,000 bond, which he made, and he was released. That scares me tremendously, and I'm going to read through this article says. Let me drop this article in the chat. This is freaking insane, okay? $50,000. He's facing 6 counts of child abuse, sexual crimes, and 1 count missed 6 felony charges of sexually abusing minors, which happen to be kids, and 1 misdemeanor child abuse, which is also his child, that he held underwater until his son blacked out. And it's alleged that the son found out about the sexual abuse of the sister and confronted the dad, so he decided to hold him underwater till he blacked out. This case freaking sucks, and I really pray, pray, pray. I'm going to follow this one because I think this is another opportunity where we take something that is tremendously horrible and hopefully enact change through legislation to make sure that we are clearly bail needs to be reformed in Colorado. This is insane, especially when this article gives a little more detail about one on my phone too. It's insane to me that this is even happening. So Michael Hawkins, 55, was released from custody following accusations of sexual assault, while his ex-wife Rachel Pickrell Hawkins is serving 7 weekends in jail in a bitter custody battle. And this is Douglas County, Colorado. Retired Colorado police sergeant who was once hailed a hero for his response to the Aurora movie theater mass shooting in 2012 has been charged with sexually assaulting his daughter. But a judge has allowed him visitation while throwing the victim's mom behind bars in a bitter custody battle. She told the reunification counselor and the judge, no, I'm not going to allow you to put my children with him, and they put her in freaking jail. But not the dad. He made bail. Totally fine. So Michael Hawkins, 55, faces criminal charges for allegedly raping his daughter and continually sexually assaulting her and his 2 adopted daughters, according to the Denver Gazette. He was released in July on GPS-monitored supervision after posting a $50,000 bail. Meanwhile, his ex-wife, Rachel, is serving 7 weekends behind bars for refusing to send their 2 sons, ages 10 and 13, to court-ordered reunification therapy with Hawkins. The therapy was part of their divorce proceedings that began before Hawkins was criminally charged with 6 felony accounts of sexually assaulting a child and 1 misdemeanor count for child abuse. The last count is for abuse that allegedly lasted from 2002 to 2021. Now, one of the daughters is alleging, yeah, this is absolutely freaking insane. Like I said, I did reach out to the mom on TikTok because I'm going to show you her page here in a minute to get some clarification about the counselor aspect. I know they are mad as can be at the counselor and, of course, the judge. And my only question was, did the counselor know about the abuse when he was charged, that the dad was charged, things like that? I want some clarification on that. Please do not. This change is enacted through legislation, terrorizing the lady, the counselor, although I'm angry, terrorizing her, ruining her. Listen, in my opinion, the counselor, what judge is going to order reunification to a potential sex offender? I mean, this is blowing my mind. So my anger is more with the judicial system than with the counselor, because in a way, the counselor is just doing her job because they were ordered through the court to do reunification. But if I'm not mistaken, there was maybe some issues before, but don't quote me on that because I did reach out and ask for, hey, Cringe, hey, Buttercup Baby. I did reach out and ask for some clarification because I feel like this, like I said, this is going to see legislation. So I would definitely like to follow this story and push for legislation to be changed. We need stronger sex offender laws. We need bail reform in this country more than anything. Especially, it should just be common sense to me that if you are charged with sexually assaulting a child, your bail should include never being around children, period. So the fact that another court separately decided, oh, it's fine to continue with this reunification. No, this man has nothing to lose now. Okay, he already lost his wife and all of his kids when she left. She's having to stay in a domestic violence shelter because of what I can only imagine what kind of abuse was going on in that home. Now we know there was also sexual abuse and physical abuse to the children, which, is insane. This man, who was a sergeant, now is waiting for his day in court, he has nothing to lose. This is the most dangerous situation it could be. The fact that another judge does not recognize the seriousness of this situation blows my freaking mind. Like, this is common sense to me, and I'm nobody. Like, this should be common sense to a judge. Yeah. Hey, Chloe J, it is. And what will fix it is us putting our heads together, and maybe we know someone who can help this family, and potentially through working with the people in Oklahoma, maybe they can also help representatives from other states coming together, and the national push of us getting involved is what's going to enact change in this country, like real change, not just the change.org. Although I keep sharing the change.org. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It gets people's attention, and it explains people. It's a very easy, shareable thing to do. So a lot of people say change.org doesn't do nothing. But I think that's not true. I think it's a very micro way to get people's attention. We live in a society where it's microwave mentality. Everything is fast, fast, fast. So change.org petitions, it does get people to be aware of all of these things that may not get national attention to enact change in their location. Yeah. Sorry, one second. Eli said, stop ignoring me. He wanted to come. So I disagree with the change.org. I don't think a lot of people use it legislation wise, but I think it gets a lot of attention. So the therapy was part of the divorce proceedings that began before Hawkins was criminally charged with 6 felony counts of sexually assaulting a child and 1 misdemeanor count for child abuse. The last count is for abuse that allegedly lasted from 2002 to 2021. And Hawkins is accused of raping his daughter, now 17, when she was just 5 years old. She claimed that her father continually molested her throughout her childhood despite her protestations that he stopped, according to court documents obtained by the Denver Gazette. Pickrell Hawkins' 2 daughters, whom Hawkins adopted, also claimed they were sexually abused by Hawkins. The former cop is also accused of holding their son, now 19, underwater during a 2018 trip to Costa Rica, which the boy claims was in retaliation for confronting Hawkins about his alleged actions, according to court documents. And this right here is a picture of Rachel. Pickrell Hawkins is serving jail time for refusing to send their 2 sons, ages 10 and 13, to court-ordered reunification therapy with Hawkins. And then that's from her GoFundMe page. Hawkins was praised more than a decade ago when he responded to the tragic mass shooting at an Aurora movie theater that left 12 dead and dozens injured. He was diagnosed with PTSD and medically retired from the Aurora Police Department in 2018. They're leaving out, though, that in 2018, what's up not giving anybody money? Same, Bob. Same. Yeah, he is a monster. And here's another thing, and this is why I said I disagree with the hero cop. Let me find it. My bad. This is this article right here. This is from the Daily Mail. Let me drop this article in the chat. There we go. And I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. It's a pretty crazy story, but like I said, we're gonna follow this and see if we can't get some legislation pushed. That would be amazing. So, and what's up, Kiki's Eyes, if I didn't say that. So this says hero Aurora cop caught choking, stomping a woman. Hero cop from Aurora movie theater shooting is caught on hospital surveillance footage stomping on and choking woman 23 who had taken her wounded boyfriend to the ER. Aurora Police Sergeant Michael Hawkins was filmed dragging Oizana Williams, 23, to the ground on December 22nd, 2015. He placed his arms around her neck and later appeared to kick her in the head as other officers lay on top of her. Williams had just taken her wounded boyfriend to the ER after a shooting. Sergeant Hawkins arrested her after she refused to hand over her car keys so that officers could examine her car as part of their investigation. Williams is now suing Hawkins and the two other officers involved in the incident. Hawkins carried Veronica Moser Sullivan, 6, out of the movie theater after she was shot by gunman James Holmes at a Batman screening in July 2012. He was promoted to the rank of sergeant after the massacre, which claimed 12 lives 2 months before the incident outside the hospital. So 2 months before, this is insane. The hero police sergeant from the 2012 Aurora movie theater shooting was filmed on hospital surveillance footage, violently dragging a woman to the ground and appearing to stomp on her head 2 years later. Sergeant Michael Hawkins was caught on cameras forcibly dragging 23-year-old Oizana Williams to the ground after she refused to give him the keys to her car at the University of Colorado Hospital on December 22nd, 2015. The woman's boyfriend, Blake Newton, had just been taken to another hospital by doctors after being shot earlier in the night. Sergeant Hawkins wanted to seize her car keys in order to examine the vehicle as part of the investigation into the shooting and became violent when she refused, a lawsuit filed by the woman claims. She's now suing the department, claiming he and two other officers used excessive force. Hawkins was lauded as a hero after trying to save wounded cinema goers who had been shot by gunman James Holmes at the screening of Batman The Dark Knight Rises on July 20th, 2012. Okay. And here is, so this is just a minute 43-second video. Yeah, this is insane. There we go. Oh, yes, there we go. Sheesh. Oh, she refused to hand over the car keys, he said. Damn. Oh, yeah, you just seen it right there. He, like, oh, oh man, this is insanity. Let me back it up for you guys. Here's the kick. Right, right there. Damn. All because she wouldn't hand over the car keys. I think that's pretty freaking unnecessary. And it looks like this forced him into retirement, which, how, again, these things that just, I've seen a lot of cases out of Colorado that were just insane. Multiple cases out of Colorado, but I don't want to muddy the waters here. All right. Aurora Police Sergeant Michael Hawkins is seen above with his arms around the neck of a 23-year-old Oizana Williams as he tries to arrest her at the University of Colorado emergency room. She's now suing him for excessive force. And yeah, she needs to sue him. Hey, Rosie. Yeah, she's tiny. Absolutely. Hey, Susie and Rosie. Who else came in? Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Yeah, this is more than a thing. So like when they call him a hero, I'm like, no, no, I don't think so. And here's the kick right here. Yep, appeared to kick the woman's head as she lay on the ground beneath other officers. Her attorneys say he stomped on her. That's exactly what it looked like. And I've seen cops like use like the side of their palm or whatever to like get them in the back to release their arms, but not. I've never seen that. I've never seen a donkey. Well, it's not a donkey kick, but you get what I mean. He carried a 6-year-old Veronica Moser Sullivan out of the theater and to an ambulance while her pregnant mother lay inside, paralyzed from the waist down. Veronica died in the hospital. She was the youngest victim. On December 22nd, 2015, Sergeant Hawkins was filmed lunging for 23-year-old Williams as she tried to retreat into his patrol car after refusing to hand over her keys. He dragged her out of the car and placed his hands around her neck. She retaliated, grabbing him by the head as another officer, Jordan Odian, tried to intervene. The pair tussled for a few seconds, and then Hawkins tripped her to the ground. Odian, who had grabbed her from behind, fell on top of her. 2 other officers then ran over to assist the men. As they placed her in handcuffs, Sergeant Hawkins is seen getting to his feet, then sharply kicking in the direction of her head. Williams' head, which was lying under the other officers, is not visible at this point in the video. Then it's just more pictures. I just got still shots in the video. After the incident, she was charged with second-degree assault. Hawkins claimed she scratched him in the forehead, drawing blood. He had his claims upheld by Odian and another officer, Jose Ortiz, who filed a report making the same accusation. She spent the next 6 days in jail, missing Christmas with her family and unaware of her boyfriend's condition, before having her bail reduced to an amount she could pay. In the 10.5 months that followed, she was turned down for a job because of the pending charges. Eventually, in 2016, the district attorney dropped the charges against her. None of the officers were wearing body cams at the time of the incident, which came a month before the Aurora Police Department enforced them as part of its policy. Williams is now suing the police officers for damages, and the footage, which was taken on the emergency room's cameras, is part of the suit. Aurora Police Department claims not to have seen the video until this week, of course, when Williams filed her lawsuit. It has now launched an investigation into her allegations, but all 3 of the officers remain on the force. Sergeant Hawkins is in a desk role, and the 2 others are in the field. The Aurora Police Department has recently been made aware of an excessive use of force allegation against 3 of our officers, the spokesman told Daily Mail. And that's the little baby that died from the theater. Hawkins was lauded as a hero for his efforts during the shooting. He's seen above with his own children at a memorial event for the girl he tried to save that year. 2 months before the incident involving the woman at the hospital, he was promoted to sergeant. Oh my God. I listen, and as I hadn't scrolled down, hey, giving payback. Oh, yeah. Just imagine how these children felt at this event. Like they knew the atrocities their father was doing to them, and everybody's calling him a hero. Oh my God. Hey, Chica. I couldn't fucking imagine. Everyone's calling this man a hero, and you know exactly what's happening at home. And this is a lot of things that happen. All right, let's go back to this one. So this is present time. Like I said, July 29th of this year, he was arrested. 6 counts of sexually abusing a child, his children, and one misdemeanor child abuse from trying to drown his child until the son blacked out. All right. So it says the alleged rape of his daughter started in 2012 after he responded to the shooting. But his ex-wife told investigators many of the issues existed beforehand. So they're alleging that this started in 2002 to 2021. The shooting was in 2012. So it's impossible that PTSD caused this, which is what people are saying. People are saying, well, the PTSD, yeah. So this is Michael Hawkins. He just got arrested July 29th. He's the pretty much disgraced sergeant, a cop in Colorado. He was arrested in Douglas County because he's raping his kids and he tried to drown one of his sons. It's alleged that the son found out about the abuse on his sisters, confronted the dad, and he drowned him. So yeah, this is insane. But how dare you blame sex abuse on PTSD? Like, hell no. So Hawkins adamantly denies the accusations. Of course he does. His attorney, Christopher Edsel, told the Denver Post, the legal process will provide him with the opportunity to present additional information related to these allegations in the future. For now, the former couple's 2 sons remain in the custody of Pickrell Hawkins, but they are living in a domestic violence shelter. So this is this piece of shit right here. And he worked for the Aurora Police Department as a sergeant. But like I just showed you, he was let go in 2018 after he stomped on that lady. Pickrell Hawkins posted a video on TikTok, and I have her TikTok to show you guys today. About completing her first weekend in jail. The jail time began August 31st and will conclude after 7 weeks. And for whatever reason, this judge is still ordering this woman the remaining 6 weekends in jail. This is insane. So she was found in contempt of court after pushing back on the therapy, calling the sessions nothing but manipulation, psychological abuse, and coercion and gaslighting. And I freaking agree with this. This is fucking insane. And now I'm almost speechless in a way because I'm thinking to myself, how in the hell? Let me close some of these tabs. How in the hell does a judge order reunification after this man just bailed out for raping his own children and trying to drown one of his children? Oops, I accidentally closed the wrong tab. So I absolutely, hopefully they don't get mad, but I'm kind of problematic, so it is what it is. I'm problematic, let's be real. I was doing, putting all these things together, and I found this on Facebook, and it totally, it's a story about this guy. What's up, everybody? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, what's up, Judy? What's up, Lori? So this is the blue voice. I'm not even sure what this is, but it looks like a police video, but what I did was I commented his newest charges right here. I mean, they should know. They just posted this in July, okay? These people should know that this guy is facing sex abuse charges of his own.
For bow hunters like us.
Go ahead and remove him from their blue voice. Just saying, I think it would be a really good idea. All right, so if I get kicked for playing this video, I will, just hang on tight. They'll kick me for just a couple minutes, and then I'll be right back. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. This is him being interviewed after the Aurora shooting. And I honestly, what's up, Tracy? I really think it was, it's a cop's job to report to. When they're dispatched to a call, you never know what you're going to walk onto. But the way they just hoisted this guy as a hero, ooh. I don't know if it made the abuse worse, but I just can't get my head off of how those kids felt when he's dragging them to those memorial events and everybody's praising this man as a hero, and those kids know that he's been abusing them. It blows my freaking mind.
I'm going to ask you that goofy cop question. Why'd you become a cop?
I became a cop because I just wanted a job that was outside of an office cubicle, and I wanted to interact with people. And it sounds so, it's the very standard answer, but it's true. I wanted to help.
Bullshit.
23 years into this?
Yes.
You feel like you've done some good?
Yes, I do.
Let's talk about training before all this. You guys, I mean, you can train for an active shooter situation, and then you go to an active shooter situation. It's probably a little bit different.
I would agree. I think the training helped and provided a foundation, but ultimately there are some things that you are just not, training cannot prepare you for. Yes.
This was one of those nights?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
If I ask you about that, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about what happened to you that night, but I do want to ask you about when you first show up, is there a moment of like, this is different, this is serious, this is a lot of victims? Is there a moment that sort of hits you at that point?
Yes, I recall coming into the lot and seeing a wounded man, and it looked like he was going to be fine, that he was stable. A road crew was taking care of him. And I remember a conscious thought, keep moving, because I was hearing radio traffic indicating that shooting was still going on. I encountered a second party outside the theater, hit a little more severely with people telling me, help, help, and making a conscious decision to rip past their grasp and keep going. And then I went into the theater with another officer, and that's when the realization hit me. This is horrid.
Are you thinking that at that moment, or are you just going into police officer mode and trying to detach yourself from the situation that you're sort of witnessing? Because I think for the average person, it's really sort of difficult to contemplate just how difficult that might be.
When I went into the door of the theater, I thought, here comes the gunfight. And when I was at those first few seconds, I realized, oh, the gunfight's over, and I need to switch gears and deal with some very ugly things. You
still think about that day, I bet, every day.
Yes, I do.
Is it hard to shake? Or do you want to shake?
I'm not sure I want to shake it. I think that I have come to a point with it where it is a passing thought. It was a place. To me, it has become a time rather than a place.
And this comment right here, I'm about to read you guys an article, Susie. You nailed it. the tactics he uses to overpower his children. Yeah, I think he nailed it with that comment right there.
And it is something you think about every day. Oh yeah, we were there. We did that. Yes.
What do you think now, 5 years later, then?
Not much differently. Just that we were there. We did those things, and I've struck a balance between thinking about it every day and moving on with my life.
Can you do that?
Can you do that? Yes, I think you can. I think you need some help, though, and I have sought out that help, and I've also realized how this can affect families and marriages.
There's this idea that you go to an assignment, and this is 5 years ago, and because you guys haven't talked a
What
lot
did he
about
just
this
say?
publicly,
Hold on.
you've talked about it.
Let me back that up real quick. He just said something real creepy.
And marriages.
Let me get you. There we go.
Sought out that help, and I've also realized how this can affect families and marriages.
Wow. So this is 2017 when they're doing this interview, I believe, because they're saying 5 years later. The shooting was in 2012. At this point, he's been raping his children since 2002. Okay, 2002. This is 15 years later. This is a 23-year police officer. I mean, this is blowing my fucking mind. I'm wondering that this is like he knows he's supposed to be. No, he's not now, because 2018 he stomped on a woman and he got excessive force, so he retired, which is bullshit. But yeah, I feel, and I'm no expert, this is just my layman's opinion. I feel that he knows he's supposed to have these emotions, but no way he actually does, in my opinion.
There's this idea that you go to an assignment, and this is 5 years ago, and because you guys haven't talked a lot about this publicly, you've talked about it with friends and family, but you have and counselors. You haven't been able to talk about this publicly, that maybe it's forgotten, that you guys have just, they've moved on. Like, you can't move on.
You cannot move on from that. No. It will always be a part of you, for better, for worse. And I'm trying to look at the for better aspect of it.
But I bet there's been a lot of for worse too.
There has, certainly.
How difficult is it to talk about this?
It's difficult. It's taking some self-control for me to answer intelligibly and not blubbery.
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing? They are being put into buses. They are given certain clothes. Some of them were taken out in boxes. You can call them crates. You can call them caskets of dead people, although they were live children in there.
I mean, we could talk about tunnels all we want. The non-believers will say, where's the proof?
When I go into the tunnels, I can't take my phone, and if you're going to do it, the psychopaths will eliminate you. So some pictures I saw that are real, and I was surprised to see them.
But there are many children down there.
Yes. But they're not in the main rooms. They're in the hidden rooms within.
That wasn't easy, particularly. I bet that was really hard early on.
Early on, in the days after, it was relatively easy. And I would say a month later, I think the shock was wearing off, and it did become more difficult to relate what we saw and what happened.
I could see it on your face. This is hard to talk about.
Yeah.
What should we know?
If it makes sense, I would call that what we saw and did in there a horrible privilege. It was a horrible event, but it was a privilege to serve with men and women of that caliber, and it was horrific, but it was a privilege to be able to help and get it done so effectively.
Think of the guys that were here and think of the other guys that aren't here. So, I mean, I hate to use a cliche in a moment like this, but it's a well-oiled machine. I mean, you guys are kind of doing what you do. How proud are you?
I'm really proud of us, and it was a well-oiled machine, and I'm gonna come out and say it. It was by God's grace that it was a well-oiled machine.
What do you mean by that?
I know that God moved in us to work that well together and that quickly and that effectively together. Yes, we had trained for a active shooter event. We had not fully trained for a mass casualty event. We had not trained for what to do when someone's intestines were spilled out. We had not trained for that.
So what do you do?
You pick them up and you put them back in and you run like hell with them. And I saw that happen, and that female officer is not here to interview about that, but I'm immensely proud to serve with people capable of doing those kind of things.
What are you going to take away from that night besides the negative?
There is some positive to take away. I think that it has at turns made me a kinder, more patient, and gentle man.
Wow. Knowing what we know now, that is disgusting. I didn't watch this before because I was getting everything ready, but I am fucking cringing.
And it has at turns helped me regain some priorities in my life, what is really important.
What questions should we ask of your partners?
Not enough to stop raping your daughter, you sorry piece of shit. I really, especially with these comments, okay, my earlier, when I said in my opinion, now I know for a fucking fact. Yeah, he's going through the motions. This guy's a fucking piece of shit.
What do we need to make sure that we make this story about when we're putting this together?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm, like I said earlier, it was pretty emotional for me to recall and remember what these guys were doing.
You were so caught up in that moment that night that it sounds like it took many more hours for you to realize just how bloodied you were.
Yes. Later on in the night, myself and Jimmy Waselko were pulled aside and taken to a room. And I looked at Jimmy, and just the look on his face, he looked shell-shocked. And I looked down at Jimmy's uniform, and It was covered in dried blood. His pants looked like cardboard. And then I had the realization that I looked at my own shirt, and my own shirt looked similarly.
You didn't see it until then.
I did not see it until then, no.
Why not?
No. Just operating in pure survival adrenaline mode would be my best answer to that.
You had one of the worst tasks that night.
I did.
How do you deal with that?
Well, I think for a while that I didn't. I think that I became emotionally detached. And as Lieutenant Redfern discussed earlier, not fully able to, not having a full range of emotions when other bad things would happen to people. And then later on, the emotions did start to hit. There was a period of time where it became kind of like a PTSD experience to carry my daughter upstairs to bed.
Whoa. He just, oh my God, I'm going to puke. He just said it became like a PTSD experience to carry my daughter up to bed. Oh. It's these little things he's saying. I will never look at an interview the same without wondering in my mind after this.
And like I say, I think it comes back to it was a horrible privilege. Sergeant Johnsgard and Sergeant Butler were aware that Veronica had expired. I was not fully aware of that when they called me over to carry her out. My hands were so tingly and shaky from adrenaline, I could not find her pulse. And Sergeant Johnsgard just said, "Stop it, get her out of here." And I ran out with her. And when I got into the parking lot, I realized that she had expired. And I have since come to view that as a horrible privilege. And I have since been able to speak with her parents regarding that. And it was important to me that they knew that that she was taken out by daddy, and that I have a daughter that age.
I mean, this just, you could tell he's like tearing up, but he's not. There's nothing. You know how your face turns red when you're crying? I mean, his nose is real red. So I know his face turns red, which, you know, his nose could be red because maybe he wears sunglasses, you know, prescription medication, alcohol. We don't know. But we know his face can turn red, and it's not. Normally when you start crying, like for real crying, your face turns all red, your eyes water. No, absolutely no.
And I'm very cognizant of what was lost.
How many kids do you have?
6.
What are their ages?
No, kind of have a used car lot. I've got one of everything. I've got 23 down to 3, and I've got 3 girls and 3 boys.
You're a different father. Yeah, like that. I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to shake. You're just going to be a different person.
Overprotective. At turns, more gentle, more patient. Yes.
No, absolutely not. No. Yeah, I'm gonna.
You never want to deal with this again.
I do not. Longest 20 minutes of my life.
You guys saved lives that night.
Yes.
Not a single. I see. I thought, well, maybe I paused it too quick. You know, maybe I'm being too critical. Nope. And his emotion just shifted. This looks like a interview that's not been cut. This looks like, I mean, it's 16 minutes. I've been interviewed by the news, and it's, they cut and they do a lot of things. But this looks like a full interview. This is bullshit.
Not everything's going to go perfectly.
No.
But there was some good that was done that night. For as hard
Certainly.
as it was.
Certainly.
What should be known 5 years after? 5 years after what the Aurora Police Department did that.
I seen it this morning. It was nuts. I don't know if they strike you though. I thought about playing it after this, but yeah, I'm not sure if they strike you.
Right. What needs to be known? What should be known?
I would say that what I would like people to know that it was an immediate 100% effort. And
yes, they do, Susie.
It was just an immediate gelling of personalities and ideas and action. And it worked, is what I would like people to know. I credit sergeants and lieutenants and officers for having the
Buttercup, baby.
wherewithal to know we got to go now. Having the wherewithal to pick up those intestines, put them in, and go.
Your car was at university?
Yes,
Did you transport?
I did.
How many?
I transported 2.
Was Veronica one of them?
No.
Yeah.
So in that picture of the 3 cop cars in University Hospital, is yours one of those?
Yes.
Do you know which one?
After seeing their interview today, they did a lot of, like, they did an interview with a different guy, but I think I have more information than they had.
I do. Yeah.
Which one?
It's the very old Crown Vic. And yes, I transported people to when I got across the lot with Veronica and I could tell that she was probably gone, I somehow found an ambulance all by itself, and they had their pram out. I laid her down on the pram, and I could tell by the paramedics' faces it was too late. I was operating on autopilot. After I put Veronica down, I ran back to the theater, and firefighters stopped me and said, "Do you have a car?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Bring the car up." And I said, "Okay." And they put Mike White in the car, and the firefighter said to me very quietly, "You need to go like hell. You need to get there fast." And then they slid this young lady, Michaela, in the back seat, and I could tell she had taken a grazing round across her lip. And Mike had been shot in the chest, and I took the firefighter literally. I went like hell because I knew that being hit in the chest was pretty serious.
Where'd you go?
I went to university.
That's right. So did you both times go to university? Or you only
I made one trip with 2 people.
That's
yeah.
right. Take 225?
Yes.
Went pretty fast, I bet.
It went pretty fast. I had a very old police car nearing the end of its service life, and it sounded like it was shaking itself apart.
But you got there.
I got there. Yeah.
These are random details. So that's the interview. Like I said, when I was putting my stuff together, I found this video on this Blue Voice Facebook, but I commented the news article of him hurting his kids. So let me read to you the Denver Gazette. Thanks, Keldon. Yeah, I just found out about it early this morning. And then, sure, I swear, Google is tracking my news. What's up, Unwrenched Mama T? I seen the Law and Crime, but the Law and Crime had an interview with, like, an expert. I think we got. So this is the Denver Post, and they say retired police sergeant who drew national attention after Aurora Theater shooting is charged with child sex crime. And of course, he adamantly denies this. Let me skip over. So Michael Hawkins, 55, was charged July 29th with 6 felony counts of sexual assault of a child by a person in a position of trust and a single count of misdemeanor child abuse in alleged incidents that spanned from 2002 to 2021. And then I'm thinking, now that this has come out with the facts. What's up, Miss Mama? What's up, everybody? What's up, Ash? I'm thinking that now that this has publicly come out, I wonder if there's not going to be more victims. He did rape. I hate this, but I mean, there's no other way to say it. He raped 3 of his 3 daughters. So there's no way that there isn't other victims, but that's just speculation on my part. So. Okay. Hawkins adamantly denies the accusations. His attorney, Christopher Etzel, said Tuesday, Mr. Hawkins has been cooperative and in communication with the prosecution throughout the investigation, but adamantly denies the accusation. The legal process will provide him with the opportunity to present additional information related to these allegations in the future. Etzel declined further comment, but wrote in an August 1st court filing that at least one of the people bringing accusations was not a credible witness and is highly manipulative, of course. And this is the defense attorney. And of course, Mr. Hawkins, presumed innocent, should not be preemptively punished by being kept in custody. Yeah, right. If you abused your children, yeah, you need to be kept in custody. They issued him a $50,000 bond. Now, how the hell did he get a $50,000 bond with 6 felony counts of molesting his children and 1 count of misdemeanor child abuse? 50,000, that's bullshit. What's up, Virgo? So the brief also notes that the criminal investigation began in 2022. So they've been working on this for 2 freaking years. But charges were not filed until July of this year, and that Hawkins has no prior criminal history. He does not pose a threat to public safety. A spokesman for the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office, Eric Ross, said Tuesday that prosecutors did not believe they could prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt when the affidavit against Hawkins was first authored in 2022. But that further investigation changed that. Once we had what we needed and we felt we had a case, then charges were formally filed, he said. The allegations span Hawkins' tenure in the Aurora Police Department between 2005 and 2018. This is ridiculous. And multiple witnesses and victims told investigators that Hawkins' job as a police officer impacted his behavior. The former police sergeant experienced PTSD after he responded to the 2012 mass shooting at an Aurora movie theater in which 12 were killed, 70 wounded, according to an affidavit filed against him. He received national attention in the wake of that attack when he testified during the shooter's jury trial about carrying a dying 6-year-old girl out of the theater that night. Now, here's where, it definitely could be. Definitely just, This is Colorado. Aurora, Colorado. He was a police officer, retired as a sergeant after stomping on a woman and getting an excessive force suit filed against him. And he retired. He retired during that, which is bullshit. If you, I mean, we've seen the video. We've seen the video. Yeah, it could be out. So that's why I say I want to make sure we're, only speculating. But because his nose is red, we know his face can turn red. So the fact he was not crying at all, while he's actually, I should have pulled this up. I should have pulled him testifying, but anyway. Now this article didn't name his victim, but I thought it was an important part to the story, so I went ahead and, I didn't put their names, but that they are his children. He did this to his own flesh and blood. You can't get any worse than that. The rape of the elementary-aged girl is alleged to have happened around 2012. That's because she was 5 at the time of the shooting. 5 fucking years old. You can't get any worse than that. These were tiny kids. And then the older 2 daughters that he adopted. Yeah, the mom is the mom left him. I'm not sure. I'm assuming she didn't know when all of this came out in 2022. That's right around the time of the divorce. So I don't know if she knew, when she knew. That's not clear to me right now. But I know that charges would have been alleged during that divorce. So I'm assuming, and this is just me assuming, because this is the timeline. When she found out about the abuse, she filed for divorce, took the kids, went to a domestic violence shelter. Some of the kids were old enough to be on their own at that point in time. And then that's why she strongly stood against the reunification process they were trying to make her go through with the 2 youngest children, who were 10 and 13 at this time. And then she's serving 7 weekends in jail because she said, no, I'm not reunifying my children. I'm not going through this counseling process, because it was forcing the 2 youngest to be with the father. And then charges were levied against him in 2020. So it just makes sense that when the mom knew, she went after, she tried to get the police involved. But here we are. 2 years later, it took for them to get enough evidence to arrest him on formal charges, when these children have been being abused since 2005. This is insane. Okay, one person interviewed by police said Hawkins claimed all of his issues were related to the theater shooting, but that in reality, many of the issues existed beforehand, according to the affidavit. So this man is trying to blame this shit on, well, did he do it or not? Because his defense attorney is saying, nope, he didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. Here's the article I just read you guys. But the abuse started 7 years prior, so you can't have it both ways. You cannot. All right. So what I did was I just did a simple, I did my little Google dorking search, and let me show you guys. And so I got all these articles I'd like to share with you today. There's some of them have different information, but pretty much at the end of the day, he's been an officer with the Aurora Police Department for, I think, 23 years. He began because, 2002 was when the abuse started. He began abusing his daughters in 2002, and then the youngest daughter in 2012, because his 2 oldest daughters were biologically not his. He adopted them. So he married Rachel. Rachel's the mom, Mike's the dad. She had 2 daughters. When they got married, he adopted them. And then they had 4 children together. And then the 3 boys and the 1 girl. So he's got 6 counts of raping the daughter. And again, the abuse spanned between 2002 and 2021. And then charges were filed, charges were levied against, or he was accused of doing this in 2022, but the district attorney did not feel at that time there was reasonable, they had enough charges to get him prosecuted with a reasonable doubt. So they investigated, and finally, July 29th, 2024, he was arrested, but then let out on a $50,000 bond, which he posted. And why the hell there's no stipulation that you have to stay away from children is beyond me. So they were already doing the divorce proceedings. So the divorce proceedings, I believe, started in 2022. And this, again, is just what I've been able to piece together, because this is all pretty new. And of course, they're not going to, and they shouldn't release the divorce, some of these records. So what I've been able to find out, 2022 looks like the divorce started. They've been going through family court since then. She's living in a domestic violence shelter with at least the 2 youngest. And the court was ordering reunification. The mom objected to the reunification. So I've got her fundraiser right here, and this is her GoFundMe. So she's at 75,000 of her 100,000 goal. Yes, unwrenched. Absolutely. And she is trying to get help because the judge decided she was to be held in contempt and served 7 weekends in jail because she objects to the reunification counseling with the father who's been arrested. Now, it was ordered for her to do this counseling prior, but especially now. She's known about this abuse at least since 2022, okay? But it wasn't like legal. There weren't charges, but now there's fucking charges. So the fact that this woman spent this last weekend in jail and has 6 more to go is beyond fucking me. So here's the story right here, the Denver Gazette. We are seeking family, civil, and criminal attorneys. Please reach out if your firm is interested in assisting. Reunification therapist is Christine Bassett of Lighthouse Christian Counseling. Christopher Etzel is opposing counsel, and Judge McDonald made the erroneous decision. This shit just blows my fucking mind. And I know for a fact. Again, lawmakers are already meeting with this woman. Bail reform is definitely in order, especially when this man has nothing to lose, okay? He already claims that PTSD made him do it, and I realistically question if he even has PTSD, to be honest, but here we go. Okay, What's up, Minnie Jr.? What's up, just for you? Yep. I agree. Okay, let me do this. TikTok kind of fucks with me a little bit when I share it, but I've got her. This is the last thing I'm going to show you today. Her TikTok, and I will give you that. Her TikTok. Yeah, and that's why she's in jail, Lisa. That's exactly why she's in jail, because she said, nope, I am not going to send my children into this situation. All right, let me fix all this. So, here is her TikTok. Let me share this thing. Hey, you. All right, so there's her TikTok page if you guys want to follow her for more updates. I am definitely going to follow this story because I do think, just like the other, oh, well, what's up, Jesse? Yeah, exactly, just for you. I did reach out to her for some clarification on the counselor. Google has already, it's not getting me right off. Google has already started dropping her counseling office review because, I'm trying to look her up a little bit. And internet Avengers are already tanking shit. And I feel so strongly. It hit me when I heard about this, when I read this story, because listen, the mom is rightfully upset, without a doubt. The mom is gonna blame everybody, and I understand it and I get it. But my immediate thought was, on the counselor's behalf, it's court-ordered therapy, right? The counselor is just doing her job. The judge ordered this. Why would a counselor think that a judge would order therapy if he was a fucking potential sex offender? So please, please, please do not go after the counselor. Even if she made an error, the mom can sue her, the mom can do whatever, but please, please, please do not start a hate crime, okay? What will fix this is legislation. Legislation will fix this because then we can hold people accountable. But until there's no rules to say what you're doing is wrong, they are free to act as stupid as they want to act. And so please remember that. Okay, so this is the mom. We're going to watch a couple of her videos. She's just like a normal mom. She's doing this I can't say it. But this is her first video, right?
Good morning. This is Rachel with Mount Simon Ministries. Yep, I am on my way to jail. Larimer County, 2307 Midpoint Drive, Fort Collins, Colorado, 80525. Corruption in the justice system is punishing me for protecting my children. So today I begin 7 weekends of jail in the Weekender jail program because I will not stop protecting my children and speaking out about the abuses that have happened to them that have now resulted in criminal charges against my former spouse. And they are 7 counts of felony sex assault on child by person in position of trust and misdemeanor child abuse, covering all 6 of my children, even my adult children. And the judges and the magistrates and the reunification therapists that are forcing contact with my children's abusers are responsible for this. And I am one of many moms out there fighting to keep my babies safe. But you know what? I'm not going to stop. And I just want people to know that I'm not going to stop protecting children.
This lady, in my opinion, is doing a great job getting the word out. I know somebody just said this before. I can only imagine the guilt she feels. Like she said, 6 counts. 6 counts. Felony. And misdemeanor child abuse. All of her children were hurt by this man. All of them. And she's trying to pick up the pieces with them. And while she's trying to pick up the pieces with them, Judge McDonald is making her put her children in a reunification process with their father who molested their siblings. And when she said no, absolutely not, she gets put in jail for contempt of court. Now, I understand that the judge, prior to these charges being filed, knew nothing potentially, but now that the judge does know that this man is facing 6 felony counts of raping children, why he would ever allow these children to be around him? Exactly this, Mama. Yes. Yep. So, like I said, I follow another story out of Oklahoma where the family is trying to take their tragedy and make legislation that will save children. I do believe I will follow this one too, and we will follow up and push for legislation. This country is severely lacking. We need bail reform. We need stronger sex offender laws. We need to protect through legislation. It's an easy fix, but geez, just since I've been involved the last couple months in the Henrietta, Oklahoma story, this is insane. I've even emailed the senators. I'm going to start calling soon. We need this legislation fixed. So many states allow sex offenders around children. It blows my fucking mind. So this lady, I'm not going to designate people a hero. She is now trying to take her power back and protect her children. And this is a fucked situation. But hopefully she can take her pain and use it to propel her, because she's got to keep fighting for not only her children, other children. We've got to get this pushed into legislation immediately.
I'm not going to stop standing up, and I am going to pursue keeping my children safe. And that is why Mount Simon Ministries was started. That is the vision and mission of my board and my advisory committee. And we are going to do whatever we can to protect children in this country and protective parents. Typically, those tend to be mothers. That's what empirical scientific research says. So yeah, stay tuned. I get out on Sunday at 4 p.m. I would love for people to meet me there afterwards and give you a post-jail debriefing of sorts and let you know what goes on the inside.
And so this was 4 days ago when she uploaded this video. So last weekend was her first weekend in jail. I think it's one of 7. So I'm curious if they're going to make her keep serving
Side and what is truly happening. My heart is broken this morning. I haven't seen my kids since yesterday. And I won't see them until Sunday evening. They're the real losers in this, you know. Judge McDaniel, excuse me, I don't want to say her name wrong. Christine Bassett, Christopher Estel, Judge Bowling, Magistrate Christensen. You're punishing my children. That's who you're punishing. And you, Mr. Hawkins, you've had so many opportunities to do what's right, and you've chosen not to.
And this proves she was not ordered to do jail time till after he was charged with these 6 fucking felony counts. 6 felony counts. And they said, oh, well, You're in contempt. What? This should have never. I'm sorry, but this proves that that judge did know. I don't know about the counselor. I can't say. Like I said, on the counselor's behalf, until I get further verification, all I can say is it's court ordered. So why would the counselor ever imagine in a million years the judge was ordering her to reunify a sex offender parent? But like I said, we changed this through legislation. And hopefully this mother will be the driving force, just like in Oklahoma. Those parents are two of the strongest people I've ever seen. They lost everything that day, and yet they used their tragedies to change the United States, or at least Oklahoma, because, their sights are set on reform to the country, but they're starting in Oklahoma. And this lady has a chance to start with Colorado and enact real change.
And for that, someday you will answer. And this criminal case is not going away. And I'm not going away. My children are what matter most. All of the children in this system that this is happening to matters most. And that's who you're punishing. That's who you're exploiting for money to line the pockets of corrupt therapists and attorneys, and who knows who else. Truth will prevail. There is a time to tear apart and a time to sew together, time to be silent and a time to speak. Well, let it be known, I've been collecting evidence. I've been keeping track. I've been researching. And I've been talking. And I am tearing apart what you all have been doing. And while I've been doing that, I've been very silent.
Good for you, ma'am.
And now it's going to be a time to sew together. Mount Simon Ministries is endeavoring to sew a robe of justice for all the children and all the mothers that have been abused by this system. And it is time to speak. God's truth will prevail in all of this. He knows the truth, and you all know the truth. So I hope I see
not a fucking
some people there today, this morning. I've gotten a lot of support, and I am so very grateful for that, because this has been a very lonely road.
Yeah, I agree, Jesse Cat. Definitely. And that's why I share, and I'll share her GoFundMe again, because I need to share it on my community well, too. She has raised $75K, but all these lawyers are going to be insane. Look, I'm not, I like to stay with what I can prove, but just as they let this man retire in 2018 facing an excessive force lawsuit, all right, he was already dead. He was a desk, or he was a sergeant working at his desk. I don't even know what that means. But they let him retire in 2018 facing excessive force by stomping on that woman's head. And now they're putting this woman in jail after only giving him a $50,000 bond. So I would really like to know, where was the breakdown in this? Where was the, because if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, we're dealing with two different types of courts. So the criminal court and then family court, however that's broken down, and I'll have to do more research to give you a definite answer. But in most places, it's two separate courts, two separate types of cases, two separate judges. I know this is a suburb of Denver. I want to say already. I should have looked at this a little better. But it's things I'm just now thinking of. And just now, really kind of putting together with you guys. But where the hell was this breakdown? How did that judge not know he's facing all of these charges? And if he knew, why he didn't halt this immediately? I mean, this is against, even if he was facing charges against other freaking children, but these are his children. As a family court judge, how the hell, with a straight face, can you sit there and send this woman to jail?
It's been a very hard, difficult road, but it's one that I know that God has permitted because he's building me into his warrior, and I wouldn't be going this morning if he hadn't prepared me.
I agree with this statement. I think that when we're put onto this earth, we choose the challenges that we face, and it's hard to wrap yourself around that idea. But now that I've experienced certain things in my life, I really believe that. And it only gives people what they are willing or able to handle. And then through our free will, we can take our power and take the trauma and take the pain and use it as a motivational force to fix what we need to fix in this world. Okay? And it's the people that do believe they can change the world that do.
So I intend to go in there and serve this unjust time, but I'm going to do it with dignity and integrity. And I'm going to make myself available for any other parent in there that is being abused and their children are being abused by the system. Last night I had the most amazing experience going to Walmart to get myself some food. And, oh crap, I forgot my cash because I have to pay to go to jail. Uh-oh, that's not good. But at Walmart, I just happened to bump into a lady and come to find out she's going through the same thing that I am. And we were so very similar, even both of us autistic. Not a small world, it's God's world. And I hope you're there this morning, sweetheart. I hope you're there to see that there are people that care and that there's support. So yeah, I have a lot to say and a lot to find out this weekend. Please pray for my children, each and every one of them. Pray that their heart is comforted while mom is gone. Pray that the damage that's been done and that has been being done is healed. And that someday they can use all of the hurt that they've been through to help others and to be able to understand them. And to have courage and boldness to stand for the truth and justice and righteousness, because that's what needs to happen. Here we go.
Okay.
Good morning.
She's got a couple more videos.
Well, hello. This is Rachel Michael Hawkins. I just want to make a quick video because I am going to see my babies. It's been a hard couple of days and I miss them very, very much.
This is the first video I found. This is the one I commented on. This is how I found out about this story.
And this has been quite an experience and I've learned a lot. I have things that I have found out from inside. And there was another mom there a couple months ago. Same reason I'm there. Same reason I've been sentenced. And if any of you know this mom who had a court hearing possibly in Larimer County about 2 months ago, could be right around the end of June, maybe couple days or so before June 26th. Or if any of you know moms who are going through this, especially if you know of any of them that have been sentenced for these same reasons involving corrupt reunification therapists, particularly Christine Bassett of Lighthouse Christian Counseling in Fort Collins, or any of her associates, please reach out. You can contact me.
Yeah, SDA, her husband, or her ex-husband was a sergeant in Aurora Police Department for at least 23 years. But 23 years that I know about, for sure. So, yeah, I agree with you. Hello, Martha.
Me at justiceforthechildrennow@gmail.com. You can make comments. I guess there's a GoFundMe.
And I agree, Martha. The system has failed her mother, or this mother and her children. I absolutely agree.
Account. So thank you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for those that were there when I went in, and thank you to those that were there when I got out. It's not over. We have a long fight ahead of us to root out these corrupt, bad actors, but together we can do it because there are countless children like mine. And I just found out that there's a Fort Collins mom who lost her babies after seeing Christine Bassett for reunification therapy, and I am so
Let me
sorry.
replay this part for you real quick.
But together we can.
Now, like I said, this was the first video I seen. This is how I found out about this, and then, did what I'm doing. Put everything together for you guys. Yeah, this was rough. But I want you to. So at the beginning of this video, she said that this is after she spent her first weekend in jail, and she found out there was another mother who also said, probably same judge, and now she's finding out more and more and more and more. So good for those ladies in there that talked to her, helped her through this process. Jail is scary for everybody, especially though when you know you are the only thing standing in between the monster that hurt all of your children and your children. Because now she knows it's all on the line.
And do it because there are countless children like mine. And I just found out that there's a Fort Collins mom who lost her babies after seeing Christine Bassett for reunification therapy, and I am so sorry. Please contact me. Please contact me. I want to do anything I can to help you. This has to stop. This is insanity. This is complete and total insanity. I made it through. I have a lot to say about it. I had no idea when I got out there would be over 500,000 views of the story, that there would be funds there. We have to pull together. We have to save these children, and we have to help these mamas. And I'm never going to stop. I'm not.
She's in jail. She's serving 7 weekends in jail for contempt of court. She's in a custody battle with her ex-husband, who's a retired sergeant with the Aurora Police Department. This court proceeding for her divorce has been going on 2022. That's when allegations were made that he had raped all 3 of his daughters and abused one of the sons physically. He held the son underwater until he blacked out. And it's alleged that the son confronted him about the abuse because he found out about it or he saw something. And the father then choked him out until he lost consciousness underwater. So she began the divorce in 2022. At that time, the district attorney did not feel they had enough evidence to make these charges stick and get a conviction without a reasonable doubt. And the family court judge ordered a reunification process. At some point, this court-ordered therapist was involved by Susie, and when it was involved, in this reunification process, the therapist was having the dad meet and do therapy with the two youngest boys. And that's when the mom protested, no, absolutely not. And then she's being held in contempt of court, which was just, I believe last weekend was her first weekend. But here's the problem, a huge problem. July 27th of 2024, I'm sorry, July 29th of 2024, he was arrested and charged with 6 felony counts of sex abuse on his daughters and then 1 misdemeanor child abuse on the son. But this judge ordered that the reunification process go through. Hell no. So she objected, and now she's serving weekends in jail because of it.
I will not stop. I will find out who else: Judge McDonald, Magistrate Christensen, Christopher Estel, Christine Bassett, and whoever else is involved in this. I have suspicions of many, many people involved in this case, in this civil case. Many. And unfortunately, this corruption is leaking in to that criminal case, which I am not able to speak about. But I can tell you they are trying everything they can to influence that and to stop it. And they really don't want this out. Elections are coming, and these judges cannot stay on the benches. And I have heard that Christopher Estel is up for a judgeship. People like that cannot.
So Christopher Estel is the defense attorney for the dad, Michael Hawkins. And now she's saying, and I haven't been able to verify, but now, listen, he's a defense attorney. It is his job to defend his client, but he's up for judgeship. That's what she just said.
Be our judges. They are not just. They do not care about the children. They do not care about families. They do not care about people. It has to stop. And I promise you, I will do everything I can to bring a stop to it. I will not stop talking. I've already received threats before this to stop talking. Excuse my language. The quote was, "You better stop talking or I'm going to smack the fuck out of your face." I'm not going to stop talking. We can do this. But right now I need to go see my babies. There's more to this. And I'm going to see to it that it comes to an end and that my children and any other children are saved from this. Enjoy your families tonight.
Hey, Dreamer G.
To that mama that lost her babies, I am praying for you. I would love to meet you and wrap my arms around you and comfort you in any way I can. Know that you are being thought of right now. And I will not stop fighting for justice and joy for your children. We can do this. Justice for the children now. Well, hello.
It's been a long, hard path. Thank you to each and everyone that has supported us. Now, this is a great video. I watched a little bit of it because, like I said, she's been living in a domestic violence shelter. And it says we're on our way to a new life. There's a time and season for all things. My heart is filled with hope for my children and all the mamas and babies who have suffered in silence. We're facing the epidemic in this world of abuse and oppression. It's time to open the doors and release the captives and their abusers. The states become our doors. The prison of domestic violence and child abuse must be torn down. It's time to reform laws, close the loopholes that continue to allow children to be abused. Countless children in our state and country. Countless children in our states and country are continuing to be traumatized by domestic violence and abuses of power. We have the power to release the captives and set them free. There are currently not enough resources to address this public health crisis. Thank you for standing with and fighting for the children, our future.
Glad I didn't put my makeup on yet today, so apologies for my appearance. Those locked gates have been my family's door to freedom. I am so overwhelmed at everyone's generosity and support. I'm sorry. I just don't have words, but I know that I need to record this. I'm finally reestablishing my baby's lives. I prayed for years that God would rescue me from this marriage that I was trapped in. I prayed for years that He would see fit to give us a better life, and that there's got to be a different way. I prayed for years that things would change, believing that I was the problem, I was the one that was wrong, that I deserved it. And today I am overwhelmed with God's goodness. January of 2022, I had no idea what kind of nightmare I was entering into. I had no idea the extent of the damage that had been done and that was going to come for my children. I had no idea what reunification therapy was. And I had no idea the statistics of domestic violence that are out there. And they're not even completely accurate because they're worse. So many people like me don't report because they're afraid, so it's worse. I had no idea that women were having their children murdered by their abusers, that the courts were turning them back over to their abusers. I had no idea what was in store for me 2 years ago. What I did have, though, was trust that God would see me through it, because He finally gave me an out. He finally gave me that release to leave and not stay trapped in a marriage just because that's what the church says to do. He let me go. And what has happened over the last 2 years has been nothing but miraculous. Don't get me wrong, it's been hard as hell. Hard as hell, it's been nasty as you know what. But in all of that, I have seen Him answer my prayers over and over and over again, and I still am here. My babies are still here. Yes, we're hurting. Yes, we're healing. But we're still here. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm
may go to jail again this weekend. I don't know. I sure hope not. I sure hope not. But I'll go to jail for my babies to make things right. And I know that there are moms out there that will do the same thing and have already done the same thing, and I'm sorry. A year into my journey through the family court system, I started a nonprofit ministry because I was not going to let the bad take over and outweigh. I wasn't going to lay down and take it. The Lord saw fit to give me a nonprofit ministry. And so I started Mount Simon Ministries with 3 very precious women. And it was our mission to bring help, hope, and healing to those struggling with domestic violence, suffering in silence, child abuse, sexual abuse, and human trafficking. And we started that before I knew about the human trafficking in our own courts. And I am amazed at the good that my ministry has already done and how they have been able to protect and to provide for me and for my children during this time, helping to keep me out of jail with the extortion for reunification therapy and raising the funds to do that. It's our heart and our mission to free.
Again, I don't want to be conspiracy. Okay, I only like to talk about things I can prove, but depending on what church, which now I can't get. I have no evidence what church she belongs. I have a feeling, I know. But this is a typical issue in churches. They don't allow divorce. It's there's so many things going on here. There's so many things. When your marriage is in the church, when your church is very inside your marriage, we see this happen a lot. And abuse gets thrown under the rug, and it doesn't matter if it's sexual abuse, physical abuse, both, just as we're watching right now. I will tell you, a lot of moms, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That was my dad. A lot of moms will sit and think, oh, I don't want to give my kids a broken home. If the dad, or vice versa, if it's the mom that's the abusive one, please leave. Don't make your kids go through that. They will repeat the abuse. The abuse won't end. It doesn't matter how hard you try to hide it. It doesn't matter what kind of great person you are. You'll never be able to undo the damage of those kids being raised in that household. And I know it's scary, and this is yet another systemic problem of all, in our entire country. It's scary, and I know it's scary to venture out on your own, but this poor woman pushed through to stay in this abusive marriage. Hey, Sarah. Yes, Jackie. She has pushed and stayed in this marriage at least I believe they were married in 2002, okay? She was still married till 2022, so give or take 20 years in a marriage where she thought her only worst abuse was what he was doing to her. Come to find out, he was raping her children and beating her children the entire freaking time. And now she's facing another kind of abuse, leaving. I mean, this woman has not had it easy. But don't be afraid to break the cycle. And if you're getting abused, get the fuck out. There's nothing good to stay for. And it's hard, but you can do it. And this is a testament. Abuse is not okay, but you gotta just leave it. You got to. I'll let
all of the children and all of the women that are trapped, suffering, being exploited and abused. And so I just want to thank everybody who has come alongside. We have such good partnerships. I can't name them all, and so I'm not even going to try right now because I don't want to leave anybody out and offend them, but I'm going to be tagging them and I'm going to be sending them this video so that they can put it out because they are the watchdogs. They are champions, and they are here for you, Mama. Wherever you are, they're here for you, and you need to come forward. And it's my prayer and my hope that my ability to speak and to have a voice will enable you to come forward and to be heard. The name of our ministry is Mount Simon Ministries, and Simon means to hear and to hearken. And God heard my cry. He moved me to Mount Simon in Livermore, Colorado. He heard my cry. And I want you to know he hears yours too. We hear you. We see you. We got you. Don't we, Aaron? Don't we? It is my joy and my privilege that every GoFundMe dollar is going to be used to reestablish lives and to pay for legal action that these precious families can't afford. That is my mission. And I just want everyone to know that this battle, while it's raging, it ain't over. And we have a movement, and it's for the children. And together with everyone who's joined me, with Mount Simon Ministries, we will use that GoFundMe money, every stinking dollar, to go towards reestablishing women and children and keeping them safe and protecting them legally, and any other way that we can develop programs to help them. Thank you all. God bless each one of you.
yeah, oh, me. My bad. Yeah, I've seen a lot of LDS stuff going on lately. Okay, so just to end it, this is what is, brought us all here pretty much. And like I said, just like out of Henrietta, Oklahoma, that family, strongest freaking family I've ever seen, using their tragedy to push for change. Starting in Oklahoma, we've got HB 3992, which is tonight's law. It's sitting in the Senate right now. Hopefully, I'm praying. I keep emailing the senator that we will get that passed. And they were talking about adding it as a JCAB, which means they just adopt it, which would be great. We need reform in this country. There's so many laws that are just broken. And unfortunately, people that live in the system, people that want to violate the law, they know how to manipulate it better. And when we are faced with horrendous tragedy, when everything that could go wrong goes wrong, that's when we find out how broken our laws are. So this is Michael Hawkins. This is the dad. He was married to Rachel, and that woman that we just saw is Rachel. And they were going through a divorce when the mother found out about the abuse. And they didn't have enough to prosecute in 2022, but now they arrested him July 29th. And instead of stopping the reunification in family court, they decided to jail the mother, which was Rachel, for contempt of court for putting a stop to her children going through more pain and more suffering. So, former rural officer who responded to theater shooting accused of child sexual assault. And this is just yet another article. I mean, this is a pretty big story. And now it's on Law and Crime has a story about it. And I really think this will, like I said, I really think this will push legislators to start fixing some of our problems if we stay on top of it. Because it's far too often when things fade from headlines, nothing is followed up and nothing is done. Former Aurora Police Department officer who responded to the 2012 theater shooting has been arrested on child sexual assault charges, according to documents. And he was arrested earlier this month in Douglas County. He faces 7 counts of sex assault, which I got a different number. I got 6 counts, but regardless. 6 counts of felony sex of his kids, and then 1 misdemeanor abuse. So we will see. And according to an arrest affidavit, Hawkins is accused of raping a girl and groping other children. The investigation started in 2022, but the accusations date back more than 20 years. Like I said, with him doing this to all 3 of his daughters, I have a feeling other victims are going to come forward. Hawkins was one of the law enforcement officers. I'm sorry. Come on. After a gunman opened. I'm sorry. Hawkins was one of the law enforcement officers who responded after a gunman opened fire during a midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises at the Century 16 movie theater in Aurora on July 20th, 2012. 13. Okay. It's 12 that died. So there's a couple mistakes in this article. Hawkins and an officer carried the body of 6-year-old victim Veronica out of the theater. He also took 2 of the wounded in his car to University Hospital. And we did watch this interview earlier. And after seeing this, I will never look at these things the same. Because we watched that man go through the motions and said he became a better father because of it. Oh my God, it was shitty. Okay, so let's show her GoFundMe one more time, and I'll drop this in. That article has a lot of mistakes. Yeah, that's one of the. If you find different articles, they say that he used pretty much his training from law enforcement in the abuse of his daughters. It's insane. So this is her GoFundMe. Like I said, I'll share this on my community post as well. Stand with Rachel, Pickrell Hawkins, and children. And they've got $75,000 raised of $100,000, and they're wanting it for attorneys. Father charged with felony sex crimes against children, and mom goes to jail for protecting them. So we watched her TikTok, and I put her TikTok in the description of this video. And then it's got a link to the story of the Denver Gazette. We are seeking family, civil, and criminal attorneys. Please reach out if your firm is interested in this. Reunification therapist is Christine Bassett of Lighthouse Christian Counseling. Christopher Etzel is opposing counsel. And Judge McDonald made the erroneous decision. And again, I wasn't certain if he knew, but yeah, with the date, we now know just by watching the videos that sure enough, he was charged July 29th, then let out on $50,000 bail. So definitely bail reform is in order. Not to mention, how is a bail stipulation? If you're accused of raping your children, how in the hell is a bail stipulation? He's got GPS monitoring. Why isn't he kept away from his kids? Like, I'm fucking blown away. Hey, 3D. I am blown away. But please, like I said, I understand, well, as best as I can, the mom's anger towards the counselor, towards the judge, towards everybody involved, the defense attorney, all of that. But legislation will change this. So if we're going to get upset and angry, directing our anger towards the right way. Let the mom handle through civil court litigation. But if the internet starts terrorizing these people, it's really just going to get blamed on the mom as if she's directing it. So starting a hate mob, I'm guilty too. I immediately wanted to just call this lady and cuss her out and call the judge and cuss him out, but that's not going to get it. So us cooler heads prevail. I realistically think, like I said, a lot of people say change.org petitions don't work, and I disagree because they get stories out. This country, humans, the technology age that we're in, everybody wants things so fast. It's called microwave mentality. But in my opinion, those change.org petitions help get the word out with that, short attention span. It's a quick, easy read, and then people become aware that there is a problem and the way to solve it in a lot of ways, or at least an idea of the situation, which is great. Yeah. Well, this is pretty quick, just happened, so I don't have any information. I did reach out to her for some clarification, but, I don't expect that she might answer. But I would like more clarification on the counselor. I would imagine, again, in my opinion, that the counselor, she's being ordered by the judge to do this therapy, but if she knew about it or not. So that was pretty much my question, because I really like it. Yeah, it's at least in Colorado, and then I know law and crime, but this is a similar problem nationwide. Similar. Don't quote me. I want to say it's like 19 states that have no laws whatsoever on sex offenders. Like I said, the case out of Henrietta, Oklahoma, HB 3992, which is Knight's Law. Wow. When I started looking into statutes, sex offender laws, I was blown away. And that's when I became involved with that story and did a little workup on that. This is a story I'm definitely going to follow out to make sure that legislation is passed, and then that we put the right people together, that we put people with this experience, parents whose kids are hurt or were murdered or raped or any of those things are some of the strongest driving forces in this country. Everyone can resonate with a mother that's in need and or a family that's lost their child. Before we go, I found this new channel. If Lori Arnold comes through the chat, she's the lady that was protesting Brian Dunker, which is something else I'm keeping an eye on. Brian Dunker is Outlaw Reform Ministries. He is a registered sex offender who runs a church in Oklahoma. So everybody got mad again because he decided to make a post saying, I'd like to have a movie night at my church. Oh my God, nothing. This guy does not need a freaking church. He's a registered sex offender. It is disgusting. But anyways, that's how I met Lori Arnold. And oops, let me pull up this. That's how I found this page, and it's called Women Against Predators. What's that called? There. And it's just, I mean, it's got 5,000, 5 minutes, pretty much half. So let me drop this link in the chat. So we're a group of friends eager to combat online sex predators and sex traffickers. Our goal and mission is to reach parents and the surrounding community to bring awareness of the signs of abuse on children. If you know something, say something, be vigilant. Please check your kids' devices. These horrible people will come today's world through social media and gaming devices. Nothing is safe. Be aware of grooming techniques. Do not be the one to miss and have to watch your child or friend go through the lifelong damages of mental and physical trauma. Make a stand against child abuse. So I am very wary of a lot of channels, thanks to Ernie Shell, and the Q group. Okay, Q was a conspiracy theory, which I love to follow conspiracy theories, but what happened was people, through unchecked reasons, okay, made a mockery of real problems. This channel, so far I haven't been able to see everything. They expose predators. They do some protesting. They raise awareness. And so it's something that I would like to always keep my eye on. Women or men or whatever that are just raising awareness, because we have so many registered sex offenders. I'm not just saying, you know, what's a magnetic? We have so many sex offenders who, just this cop that we covered today, are in positions of authority in this country. It's scary. It's insane. And so this channel, I know, exposes people and tries to get awareness out because they fly under the radar. Or in Oklahoma, they start a church. It blows my fucking mind. It blows my mind. We all know about organizations with, years-long history of child sexual abuse, like the Catholic Church, like the Boy Scouts. I mean, I would say we have an epidemic of sex abuse, and silence is the one thing that keeps these predators. It gives them anonymity. It allows them to operate, but the more we point these people out and say, look, this is our registered sex offender. He is in our community. And we out these people. It's sometimes all we can do. Ernie, as far as I know, let me pull it up. Ernie, following the Q, again, I love conspiracy theories. I'm going to make up more conspiracy theories because I am a conspiracy theorist. But York County, we've got a huge problem. I found a new channel. I've got an NIH study to put out. I found a bunch of cases where women pretended their kids were being abused in order to get their husbands murdered because of the Q stuff. So we've got some serious issues, and they're so crazy. And again, the only thing that realistically helps is legislation. And with our Constitution, sometimes you can't prevent people, like not being able to prevent sex offenders from starting a church. I get it. I don't want to take away anybody's basic human rights, but we've got to be able to do something to at least, you know, they have to identify. I don't know. I don't know the right answer in a lot of these cases, but taking away their anonymity, definitely at least something we can do immediately. Where is, oh, there we go. Inmate. Share this tab. I heard that he was supposed to be transported. It looks like he might be in transport because he is not in the York County Jail. So yeah, he must be in transport. Thanks, Tracy. Yep. There we go. So it looks like he's on his way to Madison, Kentucky, where he will finally face his crime. But yeah. All right. I appreciate all of you. I know today was a little rough, but definitely a story I will follow. And since legislators at least were meeting with her, I get that when you're dealing with the church and that culture of people, it's always hard to enact change. But the more exposure we can, again, taken away. She said, "You're welcome, Kiki." No, that's a myth. Anybody that does that, no, it's just through awareness. Okay. Bam, bam for the win. Oh goodness, that made me laugh. So yeah, these people, yeah, nope, yeah. I am definitely I think we're all staying on top of that situation, and it's crazy because there's so many people like him, and that's why I want to keep going. Not so much showing old Ernie lives, but the people that are still hanging on to this whole notion of protect the children, these vigilante types, there's a fine line. If someone said, "I'm here to bring awareness to predators hiding in plain sight," okay, that's something I can get behind. But someone pretending to be a predator hunter who worked in the tunnels, I mean, Lori freaking photoshopped Tiger Lori. All right, I'll look there. Freaking Tiger shopped him into the thing. But since legislators are already involved in this case, it's definitely going to, just like I did when I found out about this. Well, I heard about the Henrietta thing when it first came out, but then I followed up on it, and sure enough, there were legislation things being passed. Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate that. I think it's a legislation every time. Legislation will protect people. Unfortunately, though, with crime, it's after the fact, okay? I don't know all the answers, but definitely, at least if we had a set of laws that would protect the majority of people, when you have the perfect storm, as I call it, like Henrietta, I'm going to tell you right now, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Rod says, until we change the lawmakers, this is a futile, endless fiasco. The why is twofold. It isn't just that they aren't making improvements to laws, they are not holding judges, courts accountable. That's the fucking truth. But that's where we have to take the bull by the horn. We elect representations of ourselves. If we don't know who we're electing, we're doomed to it. And I'm guilty too. Voting for a judge, what is the judge gonna stand for? And unfortunately, our election, there's just so many flaws. Okay, let me wrap it up with that. There's a lot of flaws, but if we start to get involved in your country, in your county, yeah, there's ordinances, but in your state, knowing what sex offender laws are, just start somewhere. What are you passionate about? And then learn in your state what they have. And then, like what I did, I was looking at states because I was kind of brainstorming to help this family. They want to change nationally. And then the change.org, we got over 10,000 signatures now, which is great. I think when I started it was 6,000. And that's awesome. They're still posting on Facebook. They keep people updated. It's amazing. And everybody's still pushing. But I thought to myself, like, what is the answer? And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, what can we do here? So I thought to myself, if I picked the states with the worst statutes of sex offender laws, and then the states with the best statutes, and then switched it, but then found tragedies in each state to kind of show the law enforcement, like, look, this could have been prevented had, you followed this state. Stuff like that. Because in Henrietta, yeah, exactly, Ash. What's up, 8 Mile? Hello, seriously. Yeah. In Henrietta, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Oklahoma does not have a statute where sex offenders cannot live with children. Okay, that's a huge one. Separately, this man was in prison for a rape of a minor. Okay, he had spent 20 plus years he was sentenced to over 20 years, but he was serving his time. And in that time, he had acquired a cell phone in jail. Okay, in jail. This cell phone in jail, he started catfishing, or he was able to get on dating sites, or at least social media. I'm not sure where he met this minor, but he started a relationship with a minor. Okay, this minor then sent him sexual images. So he legitimately, in jail for rape of a minor, was able to have access to another minor, that minor, and then while in jail, had access to child porn, because that's what it was. They caught him with the cell phone, but then, for whatever reason, he was restated his privileges, got another cell phone. And that's when they busted him with the CP. Well, while he was in jail, they kept rescheduling his court date. Then he came up for release due to the 85% law that they have, even though it was such a serious, violent, you can't get worse of an offender in Oklahoma. And his name was Jesse McFadden. He then got released and spent, I want to say, 45 days in Pittsburgh County Jail, facing the charge of the contraband cell phone, but what was on the contraband cell phone. So, CP. He got released on, I want to say, a $10,000 bail. Why he was released early, even though he had several infractions in prison, beyond me. But he was. And then he bailed himself out and then kept it tied up in court. Now, he had met Holly, who was the mother of children, and then he married her and moved in with her, and then had access to her children and a couple other children. He turned around They were not, I can't remember if it was just before a year or just after a year. It was right around the year mark that they'd been married before he massacred that entire family and the two other girls that were spending the night, Brittany and I. Every breakdown of the system, everything that could go wrong went wrong. It blows my mind. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what it was. And the 85% rule because of good behavior. But if you get caught with a contraband cell phone in prison, I think that should negate all of your good time, especially when they find child porn. But hey, so many issues against the bail and the prison system. I mean, we've got a lot of issues. Where do we start? And like I said, here's another, I would say, it right now, I don't want to put it in the universe, but my biggest fear is that this man Michael Hawkins, has nothing to lose. This mom is in more danger than she's ever been, and then the family court judge puts her in more danger by sentencing her to jail, keeping her away from her kids, and wanting to still promote the reunification process with the man who has been charged with 6 felony counts of raping his children and then 1 misdemeanor charge of abuse. He lost his 20-year marriage. He's retired after an excessive force investigation. So he's lost his family. He's lost his hero reputation. He has nothing to lose. I can't imagine the freaking church wants to do anything with him since those charges were levied. I think so, Sarah. I really do. I thought in Oklahoma that good behavior and time served in county isn't acknowledged in it. So he was in prison, and there is an 85% law. And actually, the answer to solving that problem is in HB 3992, Nice Law. There is a part for the bail that repeat offenders of a violent nature cannot get bail. So that when, like I said, he spent 45 days in Pittsburgh County Jail, Jesse McFadden, and then he was granted like $10,000 bail. That would not happen if HB 3992 was enacted into law because repeat violent offenders cannot get bail. There's a lot of things that would fix that tragedy or would have prevented it from happening. And I know it's www.nsopw is a federal database for you to be able to search sex offenders. Wait, let me see. I think it's .com. Let me go check. And it's .gov. My bad. Yep. Okay. Let me type that, and I will show you. This is a great resource. I can't remember for the life of me. I think it's citydata.com or something like that. What's up, Pinko? What's up, Nancy Stevens? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what HB 3992 Nice Law, it does strengthen a lot of sex offender things in the state of Oklahoma. But there's like 19 other states that have similar laws, and they're just not. Like, it's insane. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no, well, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. Yeah, that is right. It's what's in the uniform that matters. But like we watched that interview 5 years after the thing, you could, well, I mean, it's looking back, you know, you could tell that that man was going through the motions and didn't feel a single solitary thing. So this right here is the NSOPW, but you can search sex offenders registries for all 50 states, the District of Columbia, U.S. territories, and Indian countries. So this is a great way to search. I would recommend, especially as a mother, you know, you make sure every man or woman that you're allowing your children around, definitely look into them. Because, you know, kids, we got to protect them. And if there's no way I would be able to date with children. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, I agree, Marco. Same, Magnetic. Same. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I know it was kind of a rough topic, but like I said, we're going to follow this. I'm praying, and I'll do more than pray. I will make sure that legislators take this seriously. What happened, Judge McDonald? Either we need him removed, or something should have prevented him from being able to make the determination for reunification to begin with, especially when the father is charged with raping the children he's trying to reunify. I mean, this is insane. Or, I'm sorry, the sisters of the little boy. This is bullshit. So I'm going to follow this case, and we will do updates just like we do with the other ones, because it has to. I really like to do a deep dive on how the fuck this even happened, but I've got some thoughts I want to put together, and then separately I'm going to look them up offline or online to figure out how did this even break down. Like, that's my biggest question of today is how in the hell did this even break down to begin with, and how do we get this judge either, I'm not sure what their disciplinary process is called, but something has to be done to make sure we send a message to judges in this country. Now, I'm not talking about threatening them. I mean, they need to be admonished the right way, okay? I don't feel in this instance hate mobs are exactly what to do, but he needs to be disciplined, or it's a she, I think she said, actually. But anyways, regardless, I want to find out. I want to find out how this family court let this happen, and if she's still facing freaking jail time. So, Pink Birdo is triggered. Listen, Mr. Nice Guy, listen, I wouldn't mess with Pink Birdo. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I will see y'all around. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. They absolutely can. Yeah, there's no stipulation. And these loopholes, again, only the predators seem to find them, because normal people don't act that way. So, oh, perfect, Abby. Perfect. State bar about judge misconduct. Let me take a screenshot of that. And that's a place for me to start. All right, guys. Thank you, and I will see you soon.